So character profile this week, like I said, is on Jason Todd, the second Robin. There were some bits in here that I definitely did know, some in here that had kind of slipped my mind a little bit, and some I just straight up didn't know. So I didn't realise that pre and post Crisis on Infinite Earths event, the character was so different.
Oh,
So pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths, he was essentially the exact same as Dick Grayson.
okay.
So he was a gymnast in a family circus known as the Flying Todds, and then got adopted by Bruce when they died.
What a name.
The only real difference was that he had bright red hair.
Ah, redhead.
And then when Dick gave him his Robin costume,
Mm-hmm.
he dyed his hair black.
Okay.
He was really energetic, happy, lots of energy, proper cheerful kind of. How Robin, when he's young, is always kind of portrayed like lots of energy, quite bouncy and happy. But then the character that we know today was really revamped post Crisis. So they
Okay.
changed it from, instead of he was coming from a circus family, his father was now a petty criminal who got arrested and then never came home.
The classic.
And his mother was a drug addict who ended up accidentally dying of an overdose.
The big classic.
Yeah, like proper change in direction.
Yeah.
His first interaction with Batman was when he was trying to steal the wheels off of the Batmobile.
What?
So he successfully got one off, ran away with it, and then was coming back to get the other ones when Batman stopped him.
I mean, I'm just impressed that he actually got a wheel off the Batmobile.
Yeah. So then Batman tried to put him in a home for troubled youngsters. Also, Bruce Wayne did. To try and like support him. But the home was kind of infested by criminal organizations, essentially recruiting.
No surprise there, honestly.
Yeah, it's Gotham. There's young
Yep.
kids with problems. That's recruiting ground. So then Bruce ended up bringing him in and adopting him.
Okay.
But he was very different to Dick because obviously Dick was very young and had been trained by Bruce and was quite happy-go-lucky. Jason was impulsive and reckless and angry all the time because he felt so wronged by the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he also kind of had this bent sense of what is right and wrong because growing up with a father who wasn't there and a drug addicted mother, he had to steal to eat. So while stealing is wrong, he also viewed it as necessary.
Yeah.
So because of the trauma he'd gone through at such a young age and still being so young, he had a really rough sense of what was right and wrong. And actually, this version of Robin originally wasn't that popular with fans. They didn't like him.
I can see why. It's a bit of a different direction compared to what they used to.
So then we came up to the Death in the Family miniseries,
Mm.
during which we found out that Jason's Todd mother wasn't actually the woman he'd grown up with who'd overdosed.
What
He
to
managed to track her down, and she was actually working as a missionary out in Ethiopia. He went out and
that's totally
found her.
different.
Yeah, he went out and found her and actually found out that she had been embezzling from the charity.
Right.
That the Joker had found out about it and was blackmailing her for medical supplies.
Interesting.
And then as part of that, the Joker tricked her into sending Jason Todd as the Robin into his arms, essentially, into a trap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So everyone knows that the Joker then killed him. with a crowbar. It was pretty fucking brutal for the time.
Hmm.
What people sometimes forget is that fans voted on whether he lived or died.
Jeez, didn't know that.
DC ran a telephone poll where people could call in and
During the
choose whether he would
times.
live or die. And he only ended up dying by like 12 to 15 votes.
Should have been a revote.
So when you bear in mind like how close that is and how big a difference that then makes to the character after that point, it really is a big, big difference
Yeah,
in just the history of DC altogether.
yeah. Had that slightly shifted the other way, you end up with a complete different timeline. Essentially, we are living
Exactly.
in a multiverse.
Exactly. Which led to Batman mourning his death quite badly. Um, and I would say, even though Jason is now alive and well, Batman still kind of mourns Jason before the incident
Hmm.
because he doesn't view who came back as the same person in a lot of ways.
I can
Um,
understand that.
yeah. So I don't know the exact amount of time for which we didn't actually see Jason in the comics, but he did disappear for a good amount of time. Um,
Hmm.
and then there was a Hush mini series where it turned out Jason was Hush,
Okay,
and then it actually turned out no, it was just Clayface pretending to be Jason.
feels like a way of
And
writing their
then
way out of it.
it kind of got retconned a little bit later that at one point it was Jason, then they did the old switcheroo, and then it was Clayface.
Mm,
So that first reappearance of Jason gets a little bit muddy. It
yeah.
was almost like they kind of tested the waters with it. They didn't think fans would like it as they were writing it, so threw the Clayface bit in there. Then when they did fully do it a few years later and fans liked it, they tried to go, "Oh no, it was Jason for a little bit and then it was Clayface for a little bit." They teamed up, blah, 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 blah. Um,
Yeah.
but eventually he did fully come back as a new antagonist of the Batman, known as the Red Hood. Um, then the Red Hood kind of it was interesting. He was kind of like a crime boss, but he was fighting crime at the same time. He almost wanted all the crime under his control so that he could kind of stop poor people getting so hurt by crime. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it was more like he wanted, because this is the part that I kind of remember of Jason Todd, and it's kind of like he just wanted to be in control of like the situation.
Exactly. But then it's found out that he's in fact alive, and the reason he's so furious is that Batman hadn't finally killed the Joker. After
Mm.
all the shit the Joker had done, he thought that Batman would find out that the Joker had killed him, and that would finally be enough for Batman to kill him and
Mm.
put him down. But it wasn't, which led to a standoff of Jason Todd kidnapping the Joker, torturing him for a number of days, and basically he said to Batman, "I'm going to shoot him in the head if you don't shoot me in the head."
I feel like
So he was
I remember this.
it's been kind of parodied a couple of not parodied, shown a couple of times in different ways. But what it boiled down to was either you kill me or I kill him.
Mm.
But one of us has got to die. And Batman just shot the gun out of Jason's hand. Um, since the new 52 and Rebirth, Jason is now part of the Bat family again. He still goes by the Red Hood, but he's now got a red bat emblem on his chest. Him and Bruce don't always see eye to eye. He is still very violent with criminals, but they are trying to repair their relationship quite well as much as they can.
Yeah.
But very, very different to how they originally had Jason Todd pre-Crisis,
Yeah.
and also just how different this character could be if the fans would have chosen to let him live.
Yeah, it would have changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting though, because I didn't know about the pre. The way I know Jason Todd is from like the more Red Hood side of things, so I didn't actually really know about the pre-Crisis side of it.
Neither did I. I definitely didn't know he was a redhead pre-Crisis.
No, I didn't know that.
But
I
very, very
wonder
interesting.
if it was like they kind of felt we're just repeating Dick Grayson again.
Well,
And
here's the
like
thing.
it was a bit too similar. Maybe they wanted to just go more out there, somewhere else.
Well, here's the thing. Fans liked pre-Crisis Jason as Robin more than post-Crisis Jason as Robin.
Yeah, but fans like what they
Oh
know.
yeah, fans don't always know what's best.
No,
It
they're
was
not the
just
best for
really
change.
interesting.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So yeah, again, we're probably doing Tim next week unless I have reason to do someone else who I know the least about. But based on what I do know, I think it's going to be again very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jason is such an interesting character. One of my favourite members of the Bat Fam, just because he's so different, and because he's so different in so many ways, he comes to blows with a lot of members of the Bat Fams quite regularly.
Yeah, he kind of pushes what they're like. He pushes on like the boundaries of what they'll do, which is a
Exactly.
nice addition to things.